Yo, what's up, guys? It's the Insane Game Freak here, and today we're gonna do something a little different. As you guys know, the Game Freak in the channel usually it has a reference to Pokemon, and I feel like if I went through the possibility of going through all the anime and kind of comparing and contrasting regions, why not do the same thing for the games? But I feel like it's not as interesting if I do it by myself. So over the course of the next 3 videos or so, I will be doing this in a podcast format with some friends. First off, actually, we're not gonna do the usual. We're gonna on the new. I think this might be your first time on my channel. So, Richie, introduce yourself.
What is up, guys? This is Richie, aka R4I297. You may have heard me from KG Prestige's channel, but yeah, this is my first time on the channel, and thanks, bro, for letting me be a part of this.
No problem. And then, of course, the regular at this point, the usual man that shows up for the Pokemon discussions. I don't know how this keeps happening. Yes, I do. I keep asking, and that's what it is. It's your boy Tyrone the God 3. Tyrone, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 here, and yes, it's good to be back on another one of Terrell's channels, T and T, the Dynamite pair.
Oh,
Well, no, it has to be TRT. We got to be fair here.
Good point. Good point.
Don't ignore Richie.
He said, "I don't know." He said, "I don't know how he becomes this regular now." But yeah, I'm glad to be back on the channel, and it's good to be here.
Okay, so like I said, we're gonna split this up into parts because if we did the whole shebang with all 7 generations at this point,
we'd be here forever.
Yeah, we'll be here forever because there's a lot of shit in Pokemon we have to cover. So we're not going to do that. We're going to split it up. And the first section, this first video, is just going to be on story/characters between the games and kind of where we all land in terms of which is our favorite and why they're our favorites and why not, that kind of stuff. So we'll kind of start this off slow and then get into the meat and potatoes. Mm-hmm. Who are which region has your favorite characters? And I'll let Tyrone go first.
Which region has my favorite characters?
I guess I'm talking like main protagonist, rival, evil team, and supporting characters.
Okay, so if we had to pick that, now I know this is gonna sound completely contrary to my usual favorite generation, but I'm actually going. If we're picking this particular subject alone, Gen 5's gonna win it for me.
Ooh.
Is there a particular reason why?
Gen 5 handles characters really well. Like, Gen 5 has a rival that is mean, but he's not an asshole to you. He's just mean to everybody else.
So you're talking about Black 2's rival, not...
Well, yeah, I'm talking about him. And then the other 2 rivals, I guess Bianca and Sharon from the first game, I like the contrast that they have. One's bubbly and airheaded while the other one's genius, like the other one's smart. So I like the contrast there. If they're gonna give you 2 rivals, I like the way that they at least came at it like that. Okay, so you got these 2 completely different personalities, and they both get actual character development. Like that, we spend time focusing on them. You know, Sharon wants to be a champion, but he doesn't know what else he's gonna do after that. He doesn't really have any plans afterwards, and he gets called out on it. And then Bianca, they make the argument that while she's old enough to make her own decisions, she has an over-attached father who doesn't want her to, basically just go out and be catching Pokemon for a living. And to be honest, that would be, if Pokemon was real, that would be a contradictory statement that would cause controversy throughout the Pokemon community. So I thought that these were some very interesting takes on not just our rivals, but the people surrounding us. And I don't even have to say much about Ian. The story basically does him justice with that alone.
Okay, Richie?
Damn, you know what? Well, I might as well just get out with it. I mean, I was going to pick Generation 5 as well. I mean, first of all, Generation 5 was not only my favorite, but it was also the first set of games actually, no, that's a lie. That was Platinum. But anyways, Generation 5 was the first one where I actually bought the games from the start of when the generation started. So so it was like pretty much the first generation that I've really fully embraced. I mean, yeah, I bought my first game from Gen 4, but I bought it late into that saga. Here in Generation 5, I was at the beginning. But anyways, what I loved about Generation 5 was just Team Plasma. I mean, I can't really say the same in the anime, but that's not the discussion. That's not what the discussion is.
He's already throwing shade, folks.
I mean, I am Mr. Shade after all. But anyways, so what I loved about Team Plasma was just that they didn't follow the usual gimmick. Oh, I'll get this legendary Pokemon, and I get this legendary Pokemon. It will take over the world, destroy it, or whatever. It's like their goal was, oh, let's just take the Pokemon away from their trainer. I mean, it may not sound a much better idea than people would usually prefer, but I liked it because it was kind of unique. It was something we never really seen before, and I liked it. I liked the way that they were handled. I really liked I really did like the rivals. I mean, I liked what was their name? Freaking.
I really like the rivals. What's their names again?
I actually forgot. God damn it! I know.
Bianca.
Tyrone just said it.
Bianca.
Sharon, Bianca, and Hugh, I guess, from the other game.
Okay, whatever. But anyways, I kind of like Sharon, the way that they kind of took him from Black and White to like Black and White 2, and they made him into this like teacher because
I like that too.
As Tyrone pointed out, that's pretty much development in itself because it's like what, a couple years in the future, right?
2 years.
Like 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty good development. I like it. As far as what else? I mean, I like the evil team. I like the rivals. As far as the story is concerned, I really.
Wait. We're not gonna do that just yet.
We're
gonna stay with the characters.
Myself.
Yeah, we're
it's
just
fine.
talking characters.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'm already happy, but sad in this situation already. I'm happy because I agree with you too. The bad news is it doesn't make for interesting commentary when we all have the same favorite.
I'm
right?
sorry, Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2 has a really good characters.
It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's okay. So I'm not gonna tell. Obviously, Gen 5 is my favorite in terms of the characters. The only real thing, there's nothing really extra I can mention, and I think that it's kind of unfair to a degree because Gen 5 is the later generation, so they had already had 4 other generations under their belt. I do like that Gen 5 was the first generation to try to do something unique with the third game installment idea, which is why it's part of the reason why Black and White has that love from a lot of fans, especially when it comes to its story, because it was different and because the new games are set in the future, and you got to kind of see how the landscape changed and everything. And it was really cool because there were characters who were still around but looked different or acted different.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we all share the same favorite in terms of that, I do want to ask 2 questions. First question is, which rival do you prefer? Do you prefer which of the 3 rivals do you prefer? Sharon, Hugh, or Bianca? So, Richie, I'll let you go first this time.
I'm gonna have to go with Sharon just to be different because I feel like me and Tyron are gonna have the same answer. If I'm wrong, then shit. But anyways, I kind of like
I
Sharon.
think you picked the wrong answer, but go ahead.
Oh jeez. Okay, well, I like Sharon just because he seemed like a much more serious trainer compared to the other, and you could kind of see that right out of the gate, I think. But then, as I pointed out, he became a teacher like 2 years later in Black 2 and White 2. So again, that's development in itself. I don't know. I like Sharon. I just like the way his character was. Like it wasn't like a really like strict personality or anything. The guy seemed kind of both sometimes when needed, if you know what I mean. So I like Sharon. Sharon was pretty cool.
Okay, Tyrone.
You know what? This is gonna get weird. Technically, I guess I'll exclude him and pick my real answer, but I'm just gonna throw him in real briefly. And weird technicality, N is your rival, but
I kind of figured. I had a feeling.
But he's also the team captain of the Team Plasma, but he's also the champion in that region too for a very brief amount of time. So he's in such a weird position. But if I had to pick one of the 3 rivals that travels with you from start to finish of Journey, I'm going to actually pick Hugh. The reason I'm picking Hugh is because he's such a breath of fresh air. So many times that we get these like very playful, oh, I'm your best friend ever, rival. Here, have 50 potions, even though we just walked in the grass once. Hugh was like, all right, dude, look, we're headed to this gym. I'm going to fight you right now to see if you're even ready for it. And then once you got to a new place, this Team Plasma punches Plasma member in the face. Where the fuck's the Purloin? And then he's like,
I will honestly say it's weird to put Hugh in this because Hugh is one of the weirder rivals. There is no other rival like him.
yeah, he's so complex, but that's why I like him.
He's essentially like Barry if Barry had a troubled past.
Yes, he's like a psychopathic Barry.
Yeah, and I don't know how to feel about him as a character because although I understand later on we get his understand what his issue is, I don't know if that's enough for me to like him as much as you might or other people do.
Let me put it this way: have you ever been friends with a bully?
No.
That's what being friends with Hugh is like, though. It's like, hey man, you're my dog, you're my homeboy, you're my best friend. Hold on 1 second, and he just like goes to Team Plasma. Listen here, you piece of shit. I know you have the Pokemon. You need anything, man? While I'm beating up this Plasma member.
I think the way you should have phrased it is not being a friends with a bully, is being a friend with someone who being friends with a bully who doesn't bully you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Being friends with
that's what's actually happening. It's
like,
a weird.
Like he's mean to everyone but you, and it's so weird.
And it's also because it's not really. I understand. I don't know how justified. Because I still don't think it was justified considering some of the shit he does in the game. And it's like
he actually punches a Team Plasma member in the face specifically to look for him, saying that they're nothing but scum. One of the Team Plasma members is like, "Man, I legitimately wanted to liberate Pokemon. Hold up."
We'll see. That's the irony of that's part of the reason why people like Gen 5, and that's getting into like evil teams and the story and whatnot. But that scene won't make sense in any other generation, but Gen 5. Like why? It won't make sense because you're sitting there playing the game. In any other generation, no one gives a fuck about the evil team getting hit or hurt because fuck the evil team. In Gen 5, it's like, I don't know if you should have done that, Hugh.
Right.
I know the history with these guys.
Hell, Lance literally hits one of the Team Rocket members with his Dragonite's Hyper Beam right in front of you.
Yeah, like, and you just don't shed a tear.
I mean, to be fair, they did kill the little Marowak. So I mean, it's fair game.
How dare they?
Yeah. It's fair fucking game. So I mean, who cares?
But yeah, I pick Hugh and Sharon. I like how Sharon's with you the entire time, and he actually talks with Hugh, and the gym leaders talk with Hugh, and he calms down a little bit after, the 8th gym badge.
Okay. I did want to. Okay, so for as far as my favorite's concerned, ironically we all have different favorites because my favorite is Bianca, and particularly because I find Bianca the most relatable. She wants to get out. She lives in a family. She lives in a very sheltered home, and her only really way of out to the outside world is like you and Sharon. So that's the only kind of freedom she gets. So when she finally gets her Pokeball and she finally becomes a trainer, she finally gets to get out there and experience new things and figure out what she wants to do with her life. And her father's overprotectiveness, unfortunately, has the unfortunate side effect of making her very ignorant to a lot of things. So it's not like she's great at battling or anything, but I can relate to the idea of trying to like get out from under your parents' wings and kind of make a name for yourself or make your mark in the dirt.
Same here as well.
And so it's always kind of so Bianca's struggle is something I find relatable. It's probably the reason why I fucking love Gen 5. I don't want to get into that, but I appreciate that dynamic and that she spends the whole game just trying to find herself, and eventually she does get to where she wants to be, and it's on her own terms, and even her family is supportive. I like that full circle evolution. And the irony is when she finally gets to where she wants to be, she's not that far away from home.
Right.
So it's like the irony of it all. I did want to ask one other question, since I don't want to go as deep into this one specifically because What I'm asking you is, if Gen 5 is your first place, who's your second place? Now, like I said, don't go super into it because we still got to talk about the evil organizations and which one's your favorite
Right.
and that. So, start off, Tyrone. What's your second place under Gen 5?
Second place. Are we still talking characters?
Yeah, characters.
I'll go ahead and give that one to Gen 2. Now, that's my favorite generation ever, but I'll give that one to Gen 2 just for real fast because of Silver. I like Silver as a rival. He's really cool, really great dynamic. And I like the fact that Team Rocket, after being broken, was literally just a broken team trying to get all back together again. It shows how resilient they are.
Right.
Right, but that's about it.
Okay, Richie, who's your second place under Gen 5?
I think I'm gonna go with Gen 4 just because it was also another generation I got myself into quite a bit, even though I was kind of late.
How
I
dare
did,
you?
yeah, I did like Barry, just kind of the way that he was. But honestly, I think Barry is probably like the only person I ever liked from Generation 4 as far as rivals were concerned. The other ones I was just like, they're just part of us for the ride. They're just with us for the ride. So, but anyways, I like the Generation 4 characters overall, as far as second place is concerned.
Okay. Mine's, and some people might already know what it is Sun and Moon. I like Gen 7's cast personally. And it's partially because, not necessarily because of how, but more so because of Lily and Gladion. I find them to be more fun and interesting characters. I actually like Gen 7 overall more. It's probably like top 3 for me personally. And that's just a personal thing. But character-wise, I love that, and I love the trial captains. I know some of them don't get as fleshed out as they need to, but it was such a step up from what I was used to, and it reminded me so much of Gen 5 and how to flesh out the characters. But I won't go too much into it. So we've done our rivals, we've done our main characters. I don't know if the evil teams are any different for you guys. Like, do you prefer one evil team over the other?
I don't.
Like, let's say you like Gen 5's rivals, but you prefer like Gen 2's evil team. But if that is the case, who's your favorite evil team? Richie, you go first.
I don't know. I mean, look, I like at first when T School was revealed, I didn't really like it just because I was so used to evil organizations other than Team Plasma because I was the only exception. I just didn't like the fact that Team Skull were just basically, idiots, like idiots that look like you'll find at the streets, basically. But then I gave them a chance, and they didn't turn out bad. I mean, they weren't terrible. I did like Guzma. I did like some of the interactions that you had with him. But as far as if I would like them over the others,
I mean, just who's your favorite? It doesn't have to be if you like them. Just
so basically,
which team do you find? Which evil team do you like the most?
Oh man, I probably already answered that with Team Plasma, but I think I'll just put that there instead because I like the uniqueness of Team Plasma, if that's what the question is. Because
no, I'm talking about just in general. Do you? I mean, you can like them for whatever reason you want. I mean, if you like them because of how evil they are, because of how developed the characters they are, or how much fun you have watching them, just whichever team do you like to see the most.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll just go with Team. I'll just stick with Team Plasma just because they were kind of, unique. It was basically an evil team that I would love, see on the get go, like on a repeat go, because just the way that they were, pretty unique. They weren't like I said before about like, oh, we're just gonna take your Pokemon away from you. Aha, we're evil and stuff. And I like the. And I really love the way how the other members turned out, like Getsus, and all the other guys. It just made Team Plasma such a not like necessarily the best organization because I know there's probably gonna be a lot of people disagreeing with that statement, but at least to me, it made Team Plasma enjoyable for me, if that's what the question is all about. But yeah, I go with Team Plasma.
Okay, Tyrone.
I'm gonna be weird and pick the simple one. I'm going with Team Rocket, and the reason I'm going with Team Rocket is because Richie, you brought up a good point. A lot of these teams have come out the same lately, and but here's the funny part about Team Rocket. Team Rocket was very cut and dry, but it worked to their advantage. They knew what they were, they said what they were, they made it very clear what they were, and it didn't blow out of proportion. Team Rocket was like, look, we steal Pokemon. We use Pokemon for profit. All Pokemon exist for Team Rocket. Point blank simple. There's no psychological reason for it. Giovanni didn't fall down like 2 flights of steps and vow to hate Pokemon and people for the rest of his life. He just really likes money, and he just really likes you doing whatever is necessary to make money. If that involves stealing Mewtwo, then there you go. Like now,
at least he's honest.
right?
Folks.
At least he's honest. If anything, and I love the fact that Gen 1 as a whole was a show don't tell generation. With the fact that Team Rocket was in the system. Like, they had a casino, and they owned a casino in Celadon City so that they can get money, so that they could purchase funding for Mr. Fuji to do the scientific experiment to clone Mew, which in theory they went to Silphco so they can hijack them for the Master Ball so that they can capture Mewtwo. All of that is fucking genius. And to put icing on the cake, Giovanni, the leader of the team, is an official Pokemon League gym leader. He's in the system. He's an official. They can't really fuck with him.
That is true.
So I always thought that was so ingenious how the game made him so involved in the official, like, Pokemon League officials. They made him a Pokemon League official, and at the same time, he's going through the companies and through the ranks and all throughout Kanto, slowly invading it from the inside out. That's real genius stuff. That's some Yakuza type shit, and that kind of, which probably makes sense because the Yakuza.
Yeah, but I get a lot of
Japan.
mafia.
Yeah,
I get like a lot of mafia vibes.
Yeah, because he is the mob, and hence his name Giovanni. And there you go. So that's why I like him. He's very organized. It's no wonder why the team needed him back so badly in Gen 2, because who else can run a team like that? And if you pay attention, Team Rocket uses poison type Pokemon, but what does Giovanni use? Ground types. As if to say, yeah, you guys can cross me if you want. Don't know how well that's going to work for you. So yeah, I like Team Rocket mostly for their leader.
Oh yeah.
This is such a hard one. This is such a hard one for me personally, because I don't know where see. I had to rack my brain about it, because I would say each of the generations have their own kind of twist on the leader. Like even Gen 6, for all of its faults, I don't. I like Lysander as a villain. I think the game doesn't do him any justice. The game doesn't do him any. Well, so was Cyrus, but people fucking like.
Yeah, I think in terms of Lysander, they didn't give him enough justice. But yeah.
Yeah, but see, I had to sit there and think which one I truly enjoy the most, and which one, if like the way I've kind of thought about it is that if they were to do a sequel, if they were going to reuse an evil team, which one would I want them to use? And ironically, when I sat down and thought about it, I probably my mind went towards the sun. I probably would say Skull has become my favorite of the villains, and the particular reason why is really not just because of the game, but because of the potential Skull has. Skull, to me, Team Skull is like this ragtag bunch of fucking misfits that don't really have a place in the world they really belong. So even if they're like the lowest common denominator type of gang doing basic hoodlum shit, they always have this air of like, see me, please see and recognize me.
Yeah.
Which is why they refer to their like Plumeria as their like big sister, and I would almost argue they probably would refer to Guzma as like big bro in some way.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the one thing I appreciate about Sun and Moon's evil team is that they were probably the ones that felt the closest like a family. Like, just because we're evil teams and just because I'm Guzma, the big bad leader of the team, doesn't mean fuck my posse, right?
Right.
Or the same way, especially I think Plumeria exemplifies this better than Guzma does. But the same idea is we're a family, we're a unit. You don't fuck with the unit. And I like the lore around Guzma. The reason why he even made Team Skull in the first place was because he wanted to become a trial captain and he couldn't do it. He wanted to pass the island challenge and he couldn't do it. And he felt like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do now? I'm like all alone. And then he found a bunch of hoodlums doing a bunch of fuck shit, and it's like, no, you come and be a part of the Team Skull. And I would say, if we were to have another game with them, they would be probably on the same level as I probably would say Gen 5's Team Plasma, in terms of becoming pseudo allies,
right?
Because it's like I'm a fuck up, but I can prove myself, and that would be kind of. I feel like there's so much room for development and growth for those characters. It just irks me that we have to do this one villain team per generation rule ever since Gen 1. Technically Gen 2.
Can I compliment on what you said too, by the way, just very briefly?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think I actually, once you started making those statements, I really wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Especially considering the fact that when you go to the area to fight off against Team Skull for their final confrontation, it feels like a broken up trial. It feels like a broken version of the already made trials that you do in Alola anyway. Because what do you get once you beat Guzma? You get Buggy MZ, which is the same thing you would get if you beat any other trial captains at their trials. You get the Z crystal that they correspond to. So it's almost like, yes, he did it. It wasn't a conventional way, but his team did it. They achieved what they needed to achieve, not conventionally, but they did it. And I think one of the real problems with that, complimenting on what you said, where they had potential, is the fact that this game tried so hard to juggle too many teams at once.
No, that's true.
Yeah, you got Team Skull, then you got the Aether Foundation, and then in Black and White, then in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you've got Team Skull, the Aether Foundation, Ultra Recon Squad, and Rainbow Rocket. Just too much happening at once. But I can see what you're talking about wholeheartedly.
So yeah, that's my favorite. So moving forward, because we're not done yet, we still haven't even touched on. Now it was weird. I debated on whether I wanted to put the gym leaders in this section or the battle section, because technically they're more famous for the battle. I just said screw it, and I said I'd probably just leave them in the battle section. The only reason why is because other than like Gen 5 and I guess technically Sun and Moon, most of the gym leaders are pretty stationary except for like one or two of them.
Right.
And I feel like they don't really add a lot to the story to justify them being in there. So I kind of want to just move into the general story and how everything flows together. Because although you might like, just kind of like how I like Sun and Moon's gym rivals, or maybe I like Sun and Moon's evil team, if the story doesn't really flow with them, they're not going to reach their full potential. So I guess now we're going to make this free discussion because we don't need to keep taking turns on this shit. This is going to be just a bunch of interjection.
Ooh.
Which story flows the best as a complete product? So, because I had to sit here and think, I said, because I like Sun and Moon. I like most of the Pokemon game stories.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But some of them do not flow for shit.
Like what? Like who?
Well, let's be real. Gen 6 has the worst story.
I mean, to be fair, I probably would have told you that too. But yeah.
It makes me mad because Gen 6 has potential.
It had no. They had I agree. It had potential, but the problem was they pretty much just go to waste. Unfortunately. Because
you have this. It's weird because I kind of put Lysander and Cyrus from Diamond and Pearl in the same boat of being both kind of insane, except Lysander was just way more open about fuck the world and fuck everything. We're not. It's only. I feel bad because Lysander was that villain where he kind of realized the worst part of humanity is the problem that's hurting these things that everyone cares about, aka the Pokemon. But his team didn't share a similar goal. In the same way, you can make the argument that Cyrus had this whole weird domination complex and wanted to like rule everything, but his team was, what was it? They were stealing honey from fucking from kids. Like, it's that weird mismatch of ideas that don't really come together in the way they're supposed to, and it's like, there could have been so much done better. What story flows the better? Like, what has the best cohesion in its story? What story can take all of its little elements, even if they aren't the best of the series, and make a really good adventure for people? Not including obvious gameplay and that regions, and because we're not going to get into that one this part. Because if I had to pick, Gen 5 comes close for me, and I almost, I think Gen 3 is probably my favorite in terms of overall cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
Generation 3, huh?
Because they tried their best to make sure each... It's weird, because that game was able to juggle two different villain teams. Kind of.
Well, it did in a way where its gimmick
but
was...
it wasn't like Sun and Ultra Moon, where they literally had to juggle almost fucking everything.
Well, they did it in a way also where the game's gimmick was that there was two teams where if you pick Sapphire, then Aqua is what you have to deal with. If you pick Magma, then if you pick Ruby, then Magma was what you had to deal with. Emerald brought them both together, but they brought them together in a way where their major conflicts were the things that you had to deal with and not having to fight them each time. Like, it was like moments where you awkwardly had to fight Team Aqua when you were at the volcano at Mount Pyre, and I'm just like, why? This is clearly a Team Magma situation. Why am I fighting Aqua?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, why?
Because
What
they
the hell
want
is
to
this?
flood the volcano. That's why. We must flood the volcano. I just think even though I don't think Brendan or May are kind of like top tier in terms of what they do for rivals, and there isn't that much of a supporting cast in Hoenn. There's some people, like I think Wally's well done. And
Yeah, I think he's the best rival.
Oh, you mean overall, or you mean just in
general? Because he starts off as a sick kid, and then he becomes like one of the best rivals you fight.
You were the one who said heal a while ago, though.
Oh no, I'm talking about in terms of well, if we were talking in terms of generations, I picked that generation specifically because of things overall, and Hugh just happened to win out. But if we're talking just like rival treatment, yeah, he's not my favorite rival, but the way they treated him is the best.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. It's fine.
But
yeah, I can agree with that because he's one of the few rivals that actually has kind of like a full transformation by the end of the game.
I'm talking not just inside the game, but outside the game too, like in the meta. Because if you fight him in the original Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, he doesn't even get rival music the whole time. And then what did they do in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? They gave him a whole entire battlefield, a theme song, a Mega Evolution, a Gallade. Like they hooked him up.
That's treatment done right.
Right. The game through the games, Game Freak must have realized, oh, wait a minute, we have rival gold here, and we haven't even like utilized it yet.
That's the one thing I will give Oris credit for, is that it gave Wally more of the treatment he deserved. And granted, it wasn't like he was bad in Hoenn. It was just, when you do a remake, I would say that was the part of the remake that, okay, good. You're all right, 10 out of 10.
Right.
Getting away from the point of the question anyway, but it's besides the point. I just think personally Hoenn had the most cohesion. I think the region fit the theming well. I like the constant struggle between one team or the other. And I think the land was super diverse. Now granted, it could get on your fucking nerves at times, and it could cause some fuckery. But then again, Gen 4 didn't do itself any favors either, so
yeah,
they're both kind of in the same boat. I just think the cohesion with the story and the characters all flowed into an adventure that by the time I was done, I was like, yeah, I've accomplished something. Obviously excluding battle mechanics for obvious reasons, but that's just me personally.
If we're talking,
I think it has been...
Okay, Richie, did you answer your story question?
Oh, I thought we were just talking about cohesion in general.
I mean, we are, but I mean,
Okay.
which game do you think did it the best?
I'll say mine's then. I believe that Gen 5 to me did it really great. Like when I saw In and Reshiram fly off into the the sunset or whatever and everything after everything's been settled, you beat Jetsons and everything. I truly felt like I did something. I felt like that was. I didn't even for a while, and I know this is gonna sound bad. I didn't even fight older. I didn't. I felt no reason to. I was like, this is it. This is how you end the Pokemon League.
I'll tell you this: for someone that has fought Alder, it was one of those that I didn't bother repeating afterwards because.
Well, Alder's the most boring champion, but that's a different discussion for another day.
Not only that, yeah, not only that, but he was just kind of easy. But yeah, anyways, carry on.
No, but long story short, yeah. And this was the first time the Pokemon League, challenging the league, was part of the story. I thought that was ingenious. Like, I love how the league was literally 1-1 with the story, fighting. In was fighting the champion, while the rest of the gym leaders are like, we'll take on Team Plasma, you go finish the champion off. I felt like I wasn't just beating the Pokemon League, I was saving the world all at once. Pokemon games have a bad habit of either A, making you beat the evil organization after the league, or B, right before the league happened.
I honestly hate Route A very much. Like, I don't know. I'd rather just deal with it before the league. I mean, I don't know. That's just me.
Well, to me, I thought that was cool that the conflict was at the league. It felt like it felt like some Pokemon manga shit.
Well, see, Gen 5 had a lot going for it. I just don't think the region kind of fits the way the game feels.
It almost feels like Pokemon Black, White, Black 2, and White 2 could be their own, like, separate Pokemon series, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it was just more of a... Because Black, that probably would be my second favorite in terms of as an overall experience.
Right.
But it's not, and I'll be honest with you, the difference between 1 and 2 is so minute that if there was like one or two things changed, it would have tipped the scales in the other's favor.
Right.
Because I think thematically, I think they really focused on the characters and world building. I just don't think the world was super amazing in itself. I think the world was kind of not forgettable, but not as interesting as other regions.
Unova doesn't have any regions for real. Unova doesn't have any landmarks for real that go, yeah, I remember that very, very hardcore in my brain. It's just like,
yeah, it felt like it just hit all the beats it was supposed to, and just kind of moved forward.
Like, this game clearly focused on the characters and story, but as far as the setting, it's just like, you're in the world of Pokemon. What more do we have to tell you? Get out there. All right, it's New York, kinda. Go.
Yeah, that's essentially how it is.
Yeah.
And we will talk about the champions after we get to this part. So I'll let Richie go ahead and give his personal.
I never really looked at. Well, I mean, it may be kind of silly, but I never really looked at the cohesion part of it so much compared to you guys. To me, here's what I look at. Do I enjoy the region? Do I like the story? Do I like what it has to offer? And do I think... Okay, well, technically I sort of do look at the idea of cohesion, but I don't look at it...
You look at it, you just didn't think of it in terms of the word.
One more time?
I say that you do think about it, but not in the terms of, like, the word itself. Like, you're not thinking, this is good overall cohesion. No, you're just looking at it as an experience. So you can treat it like that.
Yeah,
which one gave you the greatest experience?
I think I had a better experience with Generation 5 the most because it was probably next to Generation 7 as far as like one of the best. I'm not saying one generation in particular, just because for obvious reasons. But yeah, I had to go with Generation 5 because it was an enjoyable experience. I liked what it had to offer. There were some things about it that didn't really match up with what the generation was going for, but those few things didn't really matter, just probably because I never really got into those things as much. But yeah, mostly everything about it, it was just easy for me to just, get with the script, So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Generation 5, and it's a very close it's a very close second between it and Generation 7. I honestly think 2 of those generations are my favorites, but it's like very close to the point where it's kind of hard to tell unless I let someone make a poll for me and I let people decide that for me. But that's besides the point.
So essentially, you become a sheep for a few minutes and let people make your life decisions for you.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I know, it's fine. It's fine. That's kind of the point. I wanted someone who was more of a, not a newbie, but less indoctrinated into the Pokemon fandom as like maybe someone like Tyrone who's been playing since the get-go. So I like that variation. It sometimes may result in somewhat repetitive answers, but I'd rather people be honest and sit up here and BS stuff. So, to cap off part 1, why don't we talk about the champion? Because this one is going to be interesting because we have some really good champions. We also got
some trash.
We don't got the greatest one. So that's just we're gonna free for all this. I think we can immediately cross off Outer and probably Diantha. I think we can just take those out of the running.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't hate Diantha, but Diantha just doesn't do enough to justify her.
And I'll say the same thing for Alder. I don't hate his character, but it was just like to me, Alder was like one of those people that you know how like sometimes you fight a hard turn. Shit, let me look up on YouTube what other people are doing. With Alder, you don't even need to do that. You just go on ahead and fight him. No problem. Easy win. It's just the way it was.
Alder is like a champion who kind of doesn't deserve the title, or like it's a champion who's fallen off.
I mean, that's
exactly how I describe Alder. Alder is. Go ahead.
I get the vibe from Alder that he was like he's literally that. He's just old time, because in Black War 2 and White 2 they literally, what do? They put his grandson into the story specifically to get him out the way.
Yeah, and that was kind of the issue in itself. So Diantha, it's more of an issue of
she's weak.
Gen 6's storyline does not help her at all.
She even mentions how crappy it was that she didn't show up for the final battle.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense that you have this champion. Diantha, design-wise, I fucking love her. But God, they don't do nothing with her. The anime made her way more likable than the fucking the games did. But that's a whole nother issue.
But if we're ignoring those, are we picking just our favorite champion then?
Yeah. Of the what? 5
There's
remaining generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically.
And to be fair, they switched depending on what version of the game you played.
Are red and blue banned?
They are not banned.
Because blue is the champion. For
I'm not
all
banning
of 5
blue.
minutes.
If you want to pick blue, that's up to you. I think there are better champions, but that's me personally.
All right.
So we can free ball this. Everyone can say out their favorites, and we'll have the discussion. Damn it.
Okay. So I am going to pick as my favorite champion. You know what? I'm oddly gonna go ahead and I'm just, because I was gonna stay away from her, but I can't. Cynthia.
As much as I hate Gen 4.
As much as I hate Gen 4, I like Cynthia. That's weird.
I probably would say she might be objectively the best.
Right. She's the best thing to come out of Gen 4.
And it pisses me off.
She's so popular. She's so popular. Super Smash Brothers took her theme and put it in the damn game.
She's literally one of the. I think the only champion that even comes close to being on her level is probably Lance.
Yeah, she's really strong. She looks good. She's very challenging. Oh my gosh, she's really freaking hard to beat. Her relevance in the story, she makes sure she stays in the story constantly. She's a jack of all trades. She hits every mark.
And it makes me mad.
Oh yeah.
She was one of those characters.
I don't want to give her the credit.
Right, it infuriates me because I can't find any real flaw in her, and she shows up literally in every game.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. She's in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. She's in Black 2 and White 2. She's in Diamond and Pearl, obviously, Platinum. I think she's in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's everywhere. You can't get rid of her.
No,
No.
you can't. That's
No,
what makes
she'll
me mad.
probably be in Let's Go too. Just kidding, probably not.
Nah, get out
Yeah,
here.
they'll find a
Get
way
out
to
here.
shove her in.
No, yeah. If they're not gonna put her in, they're gonna put like some sort of mention. I'm willing to bet that.
This is Cynthia, age 7. I'm gonna fuck you up in Gen 4.
Yeah, like literally the way I look at it, and I'm gonna do this because I knew this was probably gonna happen. It hurts, but it was probably gonna happen.
Oh god.
Since Cynthia is kind of, unless Richie has a different opinion in terms of champions.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, then fuck it. We're gonna pick our second and third favorites.
All right, yeah.
Just
So,
throw
yeah.
mines out here.
Hold on.
Second.
Hold on. Basically,
Right.
for those of you that are kind of confused, we pretty much all love Cynthia. So
Yes.
we're just dealing with the second and third because I feel like we'll have different answers for that.
So in
Anyways,
other words,
Aaron?
Cynthia's banned.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's unofficially banned because she won already.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's
It's
what.
too easy for her.
So-
But anyways, go on.
So real quick, just throw out mine. My second and third is probably Lance and Steven.
Okay.
And it makes me
Okay.
mad because I
Okay.
want to like Steven more and I can't
Wait, why can't you?
because Lance and Cynthia are better.
Okay,
It's
well,
not even,
okay, well,
it's not even an issue. It's not even an issue of Steven being bad. Steven I even like the fact that he has the quirk with his obsession with rocks and the whole ties to history and learning about everything. And I like what they did with him in Auras, but god damn it, Lance is like so unofficially cool and it pisses me off. Actually, to be fair, objectively, I would say Steven is probably better than Lance. But Lance's section in Gen 2, it just makes him overwhelmingly cooler than he needs to be. But I probably would say Steven objectively is probably better than Lance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richie.
I would say, excuse me. I would say Steven as well, but I'm not saying that just because I don't like Lance ranked at number 2. I would just say in terms of experience. I think in terms of experience, I think I've had that more with Steven in not only just the games but the anime as well. Well, mostly XY for obvious reasons. But anyways, I just kind of like the way he was. Like his fascination with rocks just kind of reminds you that hey, we all have an obsession that we all go like Steven does. Like we're just so obsessed with it, but it helps. It helps.
So you're
because
saying-
it kind of relates.
So you're saying that Steven's obsession with rocks, it made him a little bit more relatable to the average person who has a collection of like stamps or something, like
Yeah,
someone who
pretty
has a
much.
hobby.
Yeah, pretty much. Like like if
Yes.
someone like
I'm not
like,
just Pokemon. I'm other things too.
yeah, like amiibos, action figures, comic
Yeah.
books. Because there's a lot of people that there's probably a lot of people who play Pokemon. They probably know who Steven is, and they can probably look at him and that obsession with rocks and be like, huh, why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, because I have a freaking collection of comic books in the back of me, But I like Steven. I was just putting that at number 2 just because I had more, not necessarily just the label experience, but also because I've had kind of more time understanding his character from both sides of the aisle. And I do like Lance as well, but I don't have too much experience with him, so I'll just put him at number
Right.
3. But I don't necessarily hate him enough just to put him at number 3. But
Well, I mean, if you like another champion from the other
no, I mean, I
games,
like
then
Lance
there
as
you
a champion, but I'm just talking about terms of experience because it feels like most of the things I've been saying in this video have been usually just from experience. So
Right.
I'll just put him at number 3, but I still like him the way he is. So.
All right, if I had to pick the second and third, then my second is going to be Iris, only because they did something I thought was pretty interesting with Iris. If you play Pokemon Black, she's a gym leader in training. She's not a gym
Yeah.
leader yet. She's the gym leader in training. If you play
Right.
White, she just got the position. She's a gym leader, which I thought was pretty weird. But then when you play Black 2 and White 2, either one, she is champion now. And I like the fact that she's like the youngest champion that ever exists. I like the fact that when you fight her, the spectacle that she's chosen, the stadium that she's chosen to fight you in, the spectacle of it all. I like the idea that when she comes champion, she's got the little crown and she's made herself like this like queen, or this princess, if you will. So it's all
princess.
within a little girl's perspective, and it's so cool to see that she's controlling all these very powerful dragon-type Pokemon. Now,
I can see why, but I think she isn't developed enough for me to.
she
like
didn't
her.
deserve it, but I think, yeah, I was gonna say she didn't deserve it. She doesn't deserve any of it.
She's like, you don't deserve it, bitch.
No, she doesn't, because the game rushed her through that. I think her popularity earned her the champion spot, but she does become champion nonetheless.
It makes you question the champion system. That's what it does.
Right. But and in my third place is going to be Blue, and the reason because
he's an asshole.
Yes, the reason the minute he becomes champion, he looks at you and goes, "Yo, I'm the champion." You want to know what that means? I'm the best trainer in the world.
Okay, listen, that's not fair because he literally has like the best fucking theme. It's
Oh
so
yeah, that
ridiculous.
theme is fire too. Yeah,
I fucking love that theme. You're so
yeah.
biased. You're
And I
biased.
just love how he's always like there before you get there. The minute you find out, Lance goes, "You're the champion," or else you would have been if Blue.
You're like, oh
That's gonna be the worst.
He's
ever.
literally the first internet troll to ever exist.
no! Oh god.
Get fucking baited, kid.
And then he loses his
Nasty.
championship.
Hashtag Blue is trash.
Yeah, but you gotta admit that's fun. That's the fun part about him, though.
Yeah, only because he's like unique because they won't do it again.
He's the epiphany. Yeah, he was the as far as champions, he was the epiphany
feel
of
like
you
if they
mad,
tried-
bro.
I feel like if they try doing it again, it won't be as good. It won't be as good, and it won't be as you know. I'm trying to pronounce it, but memorable or something like that.
Memorable.
Oh, memorable.
Memorable. There we go. It won't be as memorable.
Yeah,
much,
because
so.
then it'll just feel too much like they're trying. And
No. Not that. I would say it would be just a straight up copy and paste, but just in a different character. So, but yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything as far as part 1 is concerned. Hope you guys enjoyed, and please leave your thoughts and favorites in terms of cohesion, rivals, characters, champions, what have you, in the comment section below. And next time, when we come back here, we will discuss the most important thing about a Pokemon game in a region, the motherfucking Pokemon. But we don't make that first. We gotta tease you a little bit, or else you won't come back. And I need the views, damn it, because YouTube is fucking up. Anywho, thank
Pokemon.
you.
Wait, there's Pokemon and Pokemon. That's bullshit.
Shit.
Man, you've been out here reading books again, haven't you, Johnny? You've been out here trying to study and shit.
Right.
How
God.
dare you? But thank you, Tyrone, and thank you, Richie, for putting up with me right now, and then later on, and in the future.
No problem.
Yeah, that was probably a better way to say that. It's
No problem, Terrell.
Someone pass the
So-
champagne.
Until the next part, life's a game. Play to win. And we will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh.
So Cynthia's like what? Like the Beyonce of the Pokemon world?
You bitch. How dare you?